Alright, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Wargame Red Dragon replay cast, and today it is a 1v1 between our Red 4 player, George S. Patton, and our Blue 4 player, Nero. And we are going to speed this on up to the 10x mark till all the units come on out. As the first part of the game, just a preliminary setup of their units. A pretty interesting map, very easy to take Hotel and or Foxtrot, but really the main chunk of the map is Alpha and Charlie here, so we're going to slow this on back down, and it looks like the majority of the Blue 4 units here going out to the left side of the map, and the majority of the Red 4 units going out to the right side of the map here. So this is where the bulk of the map here is +2 and +2 here to gain points a little bit faster. You would want to take Alpha and Charlie, and we'll see how this works out. We have OH, one Ninja Recon helicopter moving out, and going to see this BRDM. And going to see that there's really not too much over here in the F1 here. Going to battle it out with the MiG, and the F1 loses virtually immediately there. And now the MiG firing at the Ninja there, but unsuccessful in taking it out. And the short arrows take out that MiG, so both of the jets there are lost to each other. And lots of infantry being moved into Charlie now, and probably going to dump off his infantry here in the town or in the central town, which then you could react easily to Delta, Charlie, and Alpha. And also bringing up a Tunguska and a T-72B1. We already have Golf taken with his CV troops there. And our Blue 4 player so far has not taken anything, has not bothered to make a CV to take Foxtrot or Bravo. And now moving those short arrows up and Shikis here into Hotel, so you can spot out and probably get in this wood line here, and we'll be able to spot anything coming through or at the edge of the wood line here. Anything that comes along the bridge will be pretty much instantly destroyed. And we have Maru Shikis moving up as well through the Recon and the Armored. Now moving up towards the edge of Hotel now. Alpha is going to be taken over here soon, but no CVs coming out anytime between either of the players. So really the Red 4 is just going to have full control of the right side of the map here. He's just going to be able to freely take all of these sectors and place his units how he may without any really interruption. So we'll see how this works out. Now the Shikis and the Armored Shikis now moving across the bridge here. And we'll see what he's going to do and see if he can get into India. And if he can get to this UAZ here, that will pretty much screw over George S. Patton, our Red 4 player, very quickly. And we'll see how this works out. Now the Ninja is also coming along, but it is out of infrared missiles. It is an anti-air helicopter Recon. So he's really just using it for Recon at the moment. And now the Shiki, the Recon Shiki's firing, and the Armored Shiki's now behind. And fires and takes out the armored carriers. Now the VDV are out in the open. Going to lose those very quickly. T-72A has been taken out very quickly as well. The VDVs in the town here will start firing on these Shikis as soon as they get close there, and did some pretty big damage on the first one. Now only a bar of health left. The MI-8 over here launching as well, but now looks like it's also out of ammunition. So these short arrows going to get the better of that MI-8 there to take it out with those short arrows. And now moving even further into India. Now for the Red 4 player, all the way down here, bringing BTRs and as fast as possible into Echo by the looks of it. And we'll see how that works out. He has lots of troops now moving towards Echo, and see if we can get him in there. However, this Han here will take out those vehicles very, very quickly, and from quite far away too. The range 1,400 meters, so easily could reach probably halfway across the bridge or more. And now we have a CV troop now moving across into India. India has been taken over here. For a moment, he moved his UAZ there. He moved his CV vehicle, which neutralized India for just a moment. Now he's bringing that UH-1H with CV troops, and he's trying to get those into India. And if he can get those into India, he will completely neutralize India and take over the Red 4 side of the map there, which will be very interesting. And there goes the Han firing already, and the Shiki also firing as well. It also has Seiklo's missiles firing across onto that bridge. It takes out pretty much all of those BTRs, and it looks like no survivors at all. None of the troops survived that at all. But the Red Fort could be easily be content with holding the right side of the map. But the problem is he's got to definitely defend this area here. If he cannot defend this area, then it really holding the right side of the map won't do him any good. And now he's desperately trying to get this CV out of here. As you can see, just moving it through the town there, moving it away from these Shikis here, and that taking out even more. And the VDVs here have been moved up to the edge of the town. And I don't think these armored vehicles are going to be enough. However, he did own India for a short while there, and he brought in tons of Shikis here. And now going to be moving them towards the town. And for just that moment that he held India while that CV was moving, that caused our Blue Fort player to own India, and now he owns it again and can easily just bring in troops once more. Now our Red Fort player is pretty much screwed, as he can't bring in any units on the map, so he cannot bring any additional CVs into the map. And if he could hold in Delta, Charlie, Alpha, and Bravo all at once, since it's completely uncontested over here, and win the game very, very fast. But now he has to really think his way out of this situation. So this is going to be a very, very interesting game to watch indeed. And now these Shikis are being refueled here by that cargo vehicle. And the only thing left here in India is these VDVs, which I'm sure he's aware of, as they destroyed some of his Shikis earlier. And now he's going to be bringing these up to the edge of the town again. See if he could spot these armored vehicles with those VDVs. But I don't think he can see them through that tree line. And now the recon vehicles, the recon Shikis, are moving across the map here. And they have 25mm cannons with just 2 AP power and 1 HE power, but they do pretty good damage. Will easily take out the majority of the things that are over on the right side here, as they're pretty much just troops, and the T-72B is the only really thing that would fare very well against them, but it's all the way down at the bottom of the map. And now he's trying to make his way into Echo. This is definitely his saving grace. He has to make his way into Echo and take that, otherwise he has to go all the way back to India and take that, which I don't think is going to happen. You can see all these Shikis, just unbelievable Shiki spam now pouring out of India here, and he has completely taken over the main base of our Red Fort player. No longer can our Red Fort player bring in any troops. He does have an additional CV vehicle that he's probably going to be parking in Alpha here to get that +2 bonus, which will put him at a +1 over his opponent Nero. But how long that's going to last, I'm not really sure, because Nero could easily bring in CVs of his own, put them in a Hotel and Foxtrot, and nullify anything that the Red Fort player has brought in. Actually, he can bring in things in the land. I was completely wrong, and there is a land for Gulf. There is also a land for Bravo, so you can bring in units here should he capture Bravo, and he can bring in units through Gulf. So that was totally my bad, and he can bring in units. However, just because he can bring in units doesn't mean that this India situation is not a bad situation, because it certainly is, as he lost everything in there except for these VDVs, which are pretty much not really going to do too much in this sector right now. So this is our saving grace for our Red Fort player. He is bringing in CVs. As you can see, he's just sort of pumping them out. He put the 1 CV here in Alpha. Now he brought in a second CV and going to be taking Charlie. So he's going to try and win this game via just attrition and simply win the points game on the right side of the map, which can definitely be done, as the right side of the map has significantly more point value than the left side, clearly. F1 moving across the map here, dropping. And I'm going to be dropping right on these VDVs here. And that was an excellent hit. And took all those out. They were heading towards the CB over here, which would have been fairly bad for our Blue Fort player. But now our Red Fort player has a +2 advantage because he's on the right side here. So he did take the right side of history over here. And just because he got Gulf right off the bat, that was definitely a very good idea. Because if he had not taken Gulf and didn't have a CV over here, this game would already be over for our Red Fort player. And now moving across the bridge, he's moving troops, Spetsnaz, and they're going to spot this Han here and the Shiki. However, the Shiki could easily take out these Spetsnaz. Has a 35mm cannon, which is just pretty much going to waste these Spetsnaz as they come. And their RPG-26 really doesn't have the range to deal with this Shiki. And they could probably hit it now, but they're going to be destroyed and stunned before they even get the chance to fire. And there they go, losing those as well. Now bringing him out, retreating his anti-air. And could be firing on this F1 here. And those missiles on the way. And there we go, direct hit with those missiles. And KV-107 now moving across the map here, and it was going after this anti-air, which is probably simply not the best idea. This Tunguska should be firing soon, as it looks like it's in range. Either that or it is just out of range. T-72B1 is being called in, going to set it right in here. He also has a BRDM-3 recon, and also bringing in some additional troops as well for this town line here. KV-107 is just going to be hovering over here. And this whole area completely infested with Blue 4. Not really making a move. Could easily make a move with these and push into the Red 4 territory over here. Although there is some VDVs that are set up here. With overwhelming force, you could easily take those out. The VDVs will probably take out one or two things with those RPGs. But unfortunately, they do have 875 meter range, which is pretty good, and 24 AP power, which is also very good. But eventually, too much damage on these VDVs will cause them to be stunned and could easily overwhelm them with the enormous Blue 4 force over there. Now a Red 4 player should be taking Delta as well, though it is only a +1 area. It would put him at a +4 advantage, which would make him win the game much, much quicker. As right now he's going up +3, and our Blue 4 player should definitely be taking Hotel, which would leave our Red 4 player at only a +2 advantage, which would give him a little bit more time to react in the game, a little bit more time to set up some additional strategy here, as he's losing pretty quickly, 161 out of 500. And we have additional VDVs now in. It looks like he's possibly split them up. I'm not really sure. And now the HMV's in trouble here from the VDVs. And taking them out pretty quickly here. They're just going to go right into the town where they do not belong. And there they go, losing those. F1's dropping on the area that the VDVs were, but they sort of juked it out. And now the Shiki's firing at the VDVs and to get back inside the safety of the inner town there to prevent themselves from losing out to those Shikis. Still Delta untaken here, which I definitely recommend for our Red 4 player, as he pretty much has a very secure line on the right side of the map here. And he can pretty much do whatever he wants right now. All these units over here really not doing too much. He could simply put some sight here, some recon along, somewhere along here, and some anti-air, and he could see anything that would be moving along there, and thus really don't need anything there. But he really doesn't know if our Blue 4 player originally put anything in this wood line, so it's sort of just for safety. But I think it's a little bit too much, as he pretty much completely owns the right side. There is absolutely no Blue 4 whatsoever over here. KV-107s are out here, and now we have some Kutai 90s battling out with the VDVs here. The F1 going overhead and looking for trouble again. And let's see if it can acquire a target or not. It's got to do a big ring around the area here. And the VDVs are now elite. They did take something out. Didn't actually see what was taken out there. And now the F1's dropping right on the VDV here. Nope, going to be dropping on these VDV. And there they go. Only one left in that squad now. The Kutai 90s pushing in, and 13 versus 5. Looks like they'll probably win out on that now, entering the town here, contesting that little area. Red 4 really doesn't have the ability to push into Echo, as the last time he did resulted in pretty much massive failure on with both the Spetsnaz and all the troops that he brought over from the Shiki and the Hans here. So he really doesn't have the ability to push in. So what he should be doing is really just taking Delta and winning the game out like that, and preventing any of the Blue 4 from getting over here and stopping that process. Because right now the Blue 4 has all of the left side, but it's simply not enough. As you can see, it's only +1, 2, 3, and 4 compared to his 1, 3, 5, 6, and 7 there. So that means he has a +3 advantage. And he just now did take a Delta there. So now with that +3, he should be doing pretty well. He would have had a +4 advantage earlier, but I don't think our blue 4 player had Hotel at the time, I think it was. So now a +3 advantage on our red 4 player, and will win the game sooner or later here, unless our blue 4 player makes a big move here. And we're going to speed it up just to probably the 2x here and wait for something to happen, as both sides are really just waiting it out. All the red 4 player has to do is sit and defend because he has the advantage right now, but our blue 4 player is the one that has to make a move. So now the ninja is getting on the side here and going to try and spot anything that's over here. We got to watch out for those iglas. Those infrared rockets do have a 2,450 meter range, and that is definitely further than 2,400 meters, but if that ninja gets any closer, we'll be struck by infrared rockets there. So we'll see what our blue 4 player does. He definitely has to make a move in one way or another, and perhaps this is his move here. He might maybe sending some troops over the line here, but gotta watch out. That BRDM there has a 30mm cannon. It has a 3 AP power, has 1,700 meter range on ground, and 1 HE power. So it does pretty well against troops and troop carriers. So you're gonna have to bring over some pretty solid armor across the way. Problem is the VDVs there have those Vamper RPG 29s, and they do have 24 AP power, so even the heaviest of armor will take a pretty significant damage from VDVs. But if you brought 2 or 3, they simply really couldn't keep up with that much armor, couldn't keep up with firing over and over like that. So it looks like this is his setup here, and here he goes. Now he's going to be moving across the map. And we'll speed this down to the 1x mark again. F1's flying overhead, F4EJ as well, and dropping some cluster rockets and hitting the line there, trying to open that up a little bit. Now the BRDM instantly taken out by those Shikis, and the VDVs now moving forward here. I'm going to try and defend this area from this push. And there's a short arrow, lots of troop carriers, and some armored Shikis as well. And we'll see how the VDVs handle this. They are definitely not going to be able to stop this whole push, but they will be able to take out 1 or 2. There goes, takes out one of the Shiki recons, and another fire will happen very soon. And now stunned, so they are pretty much screwed. And now it's only left to these 2 VDV, but they aren't going to do anything either. So now the blue 4 has successfully pushed into the red 4 side, but it may be too little too late, as you should have done this probably several minutes ago, as the red 4 player already has approximately 450 points out of 500, so 90% of the conquest needed as you can clearly see in the T-72B here. Going to try and defend this and take out as many things as possible, and should be able to one-shot these troop carriers here, which will just dump troops or destroy them all. It's sort of a RNG. And takes out that T-72B. T-72B over here instantly taken out by the Shikis. And the blue 4 is pushing well into this territory. However, there are 30 VDVs over here, which is going to defend pretty well against all this, as lots of missiles coming out, 3 at a time, basically taking out those Cayuse. And frags going in to the town there, took out a few of them. Now those Shikis have a far superior range than those VDVs, but they just pushes them back into the town there for a little bit of safety, and bringing out Buntai 90s and trying to get them across into this wood line here, but it's going to take some time to do that, and there's only 4 points left, so really he needs to make a move just about immediately. You'd probably have to fly a jet over and take out all these CVs at once. And our winner is the red 4 player. Taking the right side was indeed the thing to do. Our blue 4 player decided to push all the way into India, the red 4's main base, which was a pretty good idea, and it actually worked very, very well. However, in the end, capturing Gulf on the right side allowed our red 4 player to bring in troops, so he was fine either way, and he had the majorative side. The right side of the map is superior, as it holds a lot more points than the left, so a very, very good game. I really enjoyed that game. I hope you guys enjoyed it too, and I will see you guys next time.